folks, Lucifer Legborn coming back at you with another video. Alright, so first off, yes, I'm wearing our STS t-shirt that I got in my last video, and I wanted to answer a question that I get asked all the time, more frequently than I usually let on about, and the question is kind of funny, and it often reflects people's naivety about this particular subject, and that subject happens to be succubi. Namely, I get asked all the time, how do you conjure a succubus? And I'm like, ugh. First off, anytime I get asked this anymore, I'm literally face-palming myself. This is a very frequent question that a lot of, I suspect, I know I get asked it all the time. I suspect other experienced occultists get asked this ridiculous question all the time. Can I summon a succubus? How do I summon a succubus? Yes, you can summon succubi, but the general way that you find on Google search and whatnot, that's not how you actually summon a succubus. That's how you formulate an egregore into a succubi form. Now, what is an egregore? So an egregore is what is called a living thought form. Sometimes they're also called tulpas. They're very similar to tulpas. But going back to how this all started, I just got asked a question, the same question again on one of my videos. It really wasn't an appropriate area to be asking that. I get asked it all the time online. I see the question all the time online. And finally, I just decided to do this video just to kind of go out of my way to answer it. And to provide a basic warning about succubi. Can you summon a succubus? Yes, you can. There is methodologies on how to actually do this. But would I recommend actually doing it? For the novice, no. I do not recommend anybody who is still in the questioning phase. If you're having to ask, how do I conjure this? You're not ready for that, in my opinion. You have not done enough research into the occult arts, into this specific entity, and into the methodologies required to conjure that entity to go out of your way and actually do it. One of the things being, and one of the reasons being for that, is a real succubus can, while yes, they can be a kinky sex demon and whatnot, that's only one element to them. They can be very possessive of their chosen mates. They can get violent if they feel others are encroaching on their mates, and this can extend to wives or spouses, because incubi are just the same. They can extend to wives, spouses, girlfriends, even to pets at times. So you need to be very aware of that. As they grow stronger, they can also become a very domineering force in your life. This can just be like the frequency that they want to couple, they want to mate. They can start just wanting it all the time, and because it is a spiritual entity, you really can't say no. You really have no ability to stop them unless you're very experienced in how to handle and manage these situations. They can come on very suddenly, at a moment's notice, and it isn't necessarily when you want it to happen. I've never summoned a succubus, but here in Firethorn, we attract in all kinds of spirits in our rituals. People have stated that they feel these spirits coming in and out, and a number of them, because of the nature of what we do here, is in fact demonic. We don't go out of our way to conjure them here. We don't need to, because they just generally get attracted here. Have we encountered succubi and incubi? Yeah, we have. And sometimes they do take note of us and they want to have their little fun. They're not bound to us, and we know how to handle them and, get them to move on or welcome them in or whatever. But the thing that we have to always understand is that these are entities that are not physical. They are energies, they are spirits, and clothing doesn't mean shit to them. Okay? Where you're at doesn't mean shit to them. If they're attached to you, they will follow you around, and they can do things on their whim at a moment's notice. Can you have an actual relationship with these entities? Yes. If you are a very experienced occultist and you know how to handle spirits and you know how to handle demonic energies and whatnot, yes, you can have a very successful, fruitful, and happy lifestyle relationship with these beings. If you're not experienced, these beings can overrun your life. They can cause you to lose your physical health. They can cause you to lose your friends, your family, your loved ones by pushing them away, by changing your very nature. They can oppress you. They can possess you if you're not careful. Going into possession really quickly, possession is not just a demonic thing. Possession can happen with ghosts, angels, elementals, as well as demons, and even animal spirits. So anything energy-wise or spirit-wise can oppress and possess a person. It's just at what level it can do it at. Going back to succubi and incubi, though, a inexperienced person can experience all these negative side effects if they're not careful. A lot of Christians, they accidentally open themselves up to these things, especially experimental teenagers and whatnot, who think that they're playing a fun little game, and they scare themselves, and then they start attracting these entities to them, and they do something that ticks off the entity, and the entity's like, okay, I'm gonna fuck up your life. Yeah. What you find generally on the internet in the ritual for succubi and incubi, it's generally where you light a few candles in a circle, you have a pentagram on the floor, you get on some black underwear, and you go and you masturbate in that pentagram, reciting certain lines or focusing your energies and your will on, on summoning Lilith or the succubi. That is the general way that is described to conjure these things. But that's not actually conjuring a real succubi. That is creating what is called an egregore. Now, an egregore is a living thought form. These egregore are actually much safer and easier to handle, and you can kind of bring it on and off as you want. Can this actually attract the attention of a legitimate succubus? As time goes on, yeah, I mean, it can do it. Is it the actual proper way to do it? I'm going to say no. There is different, more distinct ways to conjure up certain spirits, certain demonic energies, certain elementals that are in fact legitimate succubi and incubi. And they can have different powers and abilities and confer upon their human different gifts, which is generally one of the main reasons why, demonolators, or as they're sometimes called, devil worshippers, demon, somebody who is more used to working directly with demons, it's something that they usually do that for, so that they can benefit from it. Satanists don't need to be demonolators. Demonolators don't need to be Satanists exactly, though oftentimes the two are very closely linked. Excuse me. So, would I recommend conjuring up a succubus or an incubus? If you're experienced and you know how to do it, go for it. If you feel confident that you can manage that sort of relationship, because it's literally a relationship. It is a lifestyle thing. and it is a relationship. And if you can manage that, just like you manage anything else in your day-to-day life, then I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. But if you're not experienced in handling these entities, if you're not experienced in interacting with them and working with them and doing what you need to do to manage that relationship safely, I would recommend, no, don't conjure the actual thing. Go for the egregore version. Something that is low level, something that is safe, and that you can manage and work your way into the whole process. If that is something in the long run that you actually want to have a lifestyle relationship with, take the time, do your homework, do your research, talk to experienced veterans in the demonic fields and the satanic areas, and understand what you're getting into and what you could possibly be messing around with. Because if you're not experienced and you go goofing around with something that is much more powerful than you're ready to deal with, you could cause a lot of problems for yourself, which is where we end up getting these Christian stories of possession and just all sorts of horror stories. Do those things occur? Yeah, they do. What usually happens there? Well, that's subject for a different story, but generally the person pissed off the demon somehow. Does it necessarily need to be a demon? No, it doesn't. Generally speaking, though, this is how you do it, and this is how you end up with those problems. I would recommend take the time, do your homework, do your studies, and figure out what is best for you. Where would be a safe place for you to start, and how rapidly do you think you can progress to a level where you can handle that thing, or that sort of relationship. Generally, I would recommend take about 2 to 5 years to study and experiment and experience that lifestyle in general before you actually take the deep dive into conjuring one up. Until next time, my name is Lucifer Leg of Warden. That is what I have for you today. Just to sum everything up, there are different ways to conjure up a succubus. Yes, you can have a relationship with a succubus if you're experienced in the occult arts and working with such entities, and you can have a very successful, happy relationship with them. But if you're not, take the time, do your homework, settle for an egregore to start with, work on your basic levels, and work your way up to that degree of experience. This is all intended to improve your own quality of life and your happiness and your ability. So tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. If you haven't done so already, like, share, subscribe, hit that little red button, as you know, hit that bell notification, that way you know whenever I'm putting out another video. And I'm Lucifer Lake of Warden, and I will see you guys next time. I'm out of here.